Mishnah tells us man, right? Haskal Zman Kriyas Shal Avos and Mishasha Kain Mitzvah Salach B'Shemasan. Gemara brings down a shita that Mishani Nechnas Lecha Pita Mishani Nechnas Lecha Pita Bar Shabbos. So Gemara says that Ani B'Kain is Chatshir. That's what Gemara wants to introduce. Right? We brought down a brayso that says this man has Chal Kriyas Shal Mishani Nechnas Lecha Pita. Not Bar Shabbos. Mishani Nechnas Lecha Pita. So is that argument? Mishnah the Gemara wants to introduce and say no, that Ani B'Kain Chatshir. The Gemara says, brings down another brayso that says Zman Kriyas Shema starts Mishash B'nei Adam Nechnas Lecha Pita Bar Shabbos. And that's the sheet of Rabbi Meir. And the Chacham say, like our Mishnah, Mishasha Kain Zakon Lecha B'Shemasan, like our Mishnah. And the Gemara wants to say, well, I would assume Ani and Bnei Adam are the same shear, right? Because it's Adam. Because you have to just recognize it. It says Mishasha B'nei Adam Nechnas Lecha Pita Bar Shabbos, which is also a little bit early. People tend, Rashi says, to be finished to eat a little earlier on Friday night, because normally you could cook into the night and eat later. Mashekin Erev Shabbos. Everything has to be done before Shabbos, and mainly you end up starting your supper meal a little bit earlier. So, how many say that Bnei Adam and Ari Shabbosos and Ani on a regular night are one and the same zman? And mainly, if those are the one and the same zman, then Ani and Kain can't be the same zman, because in this brayso we have Bnei Adam and the sheet of Kain and Lecha B'Shemasan in the same brayso. So, mainly, if we want to say Ani and Bnei Adam at the same time, then Ani and Kain can't be the same time. The Gemara says no, I'll tell you Ani and Bnei Adam are not the same time, and I'll just stick with my original Hanocha that Ani B'Kain is Chad Shura. Okay, so that's where we're holding it out. We want to say Ani B'Kain is Chad Shura, and Ani and Bnei Adam Bar Shabbos are two different Shi'ur. Let's do that left yesterday. In fact, the Gemara we're holding about 2/3 or 3/4 of the way down, second word of the line, Ani B'Kain Chad Shura. Or Ani B'Kain, is it possible to say that the Ani, the time when Ani eats a Suda, and the time the Kainim eat their Chum, which is Seisud Chum, is that the same as Man? I'm going to ask you a steer, so we're going to bring down a brayso now with a bunch of shitas, and in this brayso, everyone's arguing on each other, and we're going to have two shitas. One is going to be Ani, one is going to be Kain. So obviously, Ani and Kain can't be the same shear, because then they're not arguing. Okay, so Mela, that's where we're going with this kasha. When do you start saying Kriyas at night? From the time they become Shabbos, right, which is Bein Hashmashos. Okay, meaning Kiddush Hayom is the moment it's Safek Laila, so you already have to stop doing Malach on Shabbos, which is Bein Hashmashos, which is before Tzesik comes. It's an early Zman. Dibri Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Shua says, Mishash Kainim to harm Lach B'Shemasan. From the time the Kainim are allowed to eat Truma, meaning like our Mishnah, right, when they're already Tahar, which is after Tzesik Chum. Which is says Chamra. Rabbi says no. Kriyas Shema starts even earlier. From the time the Kainim go to the mikvah, which they go to the mikvah before Tzesik Chavim, or maybe even before Shkia, right? Which is early. I think Gemara is going that's too early to say Kriyas Shema. If they're going to the mikvah at that point, that's still daytime. Okay, so Gemara is going to ask that. That's Rabbi asked him right away. How could you say Kriyas Shema Shal Arba starts from the time the Kainim go to mikvah? That's the daytime. How can you have to do Kriyas Shema Shal Laila during the day? Rab Chanina Omer, he says this man of Ani. So Rab Chanina and the Shita of Rabbi Yeshua, right, are the Ani v'Kain Shitas, and they're arguing the braysos. So clearly they're not the same. They're not the same as man. Okay, so that's what's Nagir. So Gemara is going to speak this out in a second. We just finished off the brayso. Rab Chanina Omer, Rab Chaya, Amrilar Bacha Omer, Misha Shirov Bnei Adam Nechnas L'Hafsev. It says man that most people sit down to start saying there. To start eating the Suda of supper. So, we have over here, the shear of Bnei Adam on a regular night. Earlier, we had a shear of Bnei Adam on Erev Shabbos. You have to know if there's different zmanim. You would think that there are different zmanim, or maybe the Bnei Adam over here is talking about an Erev Shabbos. Okay, but let's just get to the point of what we want over here. If you're going to tell me Ani kind of same shear, right? So Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Shua. Then in this brayso we have both these shiurim represented by two different manam, and they're arguing on each other. So come out Ani v'Kain Chad Shiuru. It can't be Chad Shiur, because then Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Shua are not arguing. Now Lav Shmami, no. So it's clear from this brayso that Shiur Dani L'chud, Shiur the Kain L'chud, this man of Ani Nechs L'chapitoi, and the Shman of Kainim of Tzesik Chum, which is Kainim can eat the Truma, are Shmami, no, that they are two different Shiurim. In fact, the Gemara Shaila So which one's later? So it says Mistaver the Ani Mu'ucher. It's Mistaver that the Zman of Ani is after Tzesek Kachavim. Why? The Yamar the Ani Muktam. If you can tell me that an Ani is earlier than Tzesek Kachavim, so then it's Mistaver just a little bit earlier than Tzesek Kachavim, which is Bein Hashmashas. Right? If that's true, if Ani is before Kayin and it's Bein Hashmashas, then it comes out L'Chayra, that sheet's Rabbi Eliezer, Han Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer in the Brachos had a sheet of Mishash Kiddush Yom Ba'av Shabbasos, which is Bein Hashmashas, which is the twilight area. So if Ani is before Kayin, L'Chayra, that's Bein Hashmashas. If it's Bein Hashmashas, then Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Eliezer are the same as man. Now, Allah, Shema Mina, the Ani Mocha, Shema Mina, the Ani is later than Tzesek Kachavim, Shema, me, no.
They cross a little bit upstairs.
Yeah. It's also time to say it.
Yeah.
You never know. Okay. So we'll go back quickly because everyone over here can use a little chazar. Okay. So we left off yesterday that we had we want to say Ani b'kain chat shihur, right? Because we had a brayso that says start time of Kriya Shema is man mishani nichzach al pitay, right? When Ani eats a suda, and our Mishnah says Mishash Hakan Nechasach Shemas, which is Tzesek Kachavim. So I want to say that Ani b'kain chat shihur. That's what we left off yesterday. Meaning we'd rather say Ani b'kain chat shihur than say Ani u'bnei Adam and Arvi Shabbasis are chat shihur. But the Gemara had from yesterday's Gemara that this man of bnei Adam and Nechzach al pitay Arvi Shabbasis is the same as Ani, because both of them tend to be a little bit earlier than usual. And Ani eats earlier than usual because he can't eat in the dark. And a Bnei Adam and Arv Shabbos eat a little earlier than usual because on Arv Shabbos things are prepared for you. Can't normally you start cooking your meal, right around nighttime, and you can continue preparing your meal into night. And after Tzesek Kachavim, you'll eat your meal. Mashake and Arv Shabbos, you're done cooking well before Bein Hashmashas, so you can expect your meal to start a little bit earlier. So that was how they're the same. Gemara says no. I'd rather say Ani Bnei Adam and Arv Shabbos are two different zmanim, and Ani b'kaim is chad shiur. Okay, so now the Gemara is going to slug this up and say that Ani b'kaim can't be one shiur. Why? Because you can bring that a brayso. In fact, the Gemara of Ani b'kaim chad shiur. Can you really say we're about 3/4 of the way down? Second word on the line. Ani b'kaim chad shiur. Is it possible to say Ani b'kaim is one shiur? When we bring down a brayso, it's have about 5 shitas, and all the sheets in the brayso always argue on each other, and one sheet is going to say Ani, one sheet is going to say Kain. So clearly, they can't be the same shiur. In fact, the more of Ani b'kaim chad shiur about minimum. Ma'im samaschel l'kashma ba'ar mishash kiddush yom ba'ar Shabbos from Bein Hashmashas, when you stop doing Melacha on Erev Shabbos, which is before Tzesek Kachavim, somewhere between Shkia and Tzesek Kachavim. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Shu'aim Mishash Kain Mutar Melacha B'Shemasan, like our Mishnah, and this man Kain can eat Shum, which is Tzesek Kachavim. Meir Mishash Kain Mutar Melacha B'Shemasan. Even earlier, you can say Kriya Shema when Kain are going to mikvah, right, which is during the day. Amalei Rabbi Huda, how can you say Kriya Shema Shel Arvis during the day? They're time from the during the day, and it doesn't make sense to say Kriya Shema Shel Arvis starts during the daytime. Rabbi Chanina says, he says the share of Ani, and so if Ani became Chachur, then Rabbi Chanina, Haini, Rabbi Shua, right? Just the last sheet of the Mishnah of the Brachos is Rabbi Chaimer, Mishash, Rabbi Adam Nechnasim Le Hasef, which would be L'chara later man after Tzesek Kachavim, because Rabbi Adam is they work to the last minute of light, and then they get home, have to prepare their food. By the time they prepare their food, it's after Tzesek Kachavim. B'yamin Ani b'kain chat shiur, Rabbi Chanina had Rabbi Shua, Rabbi Shua saying the same thing. Now, Lav Shema Mina, Shiur Ani b'kain Shua, the kain l'chot Shema Mina. In fact, the Gemara Hayim Menai Mocha. Which one's later? Is Ani later or is Kain later? Right. So Gemara says Mistaver the Ani Mocha. Mistaver that Ani is later than Tzesek Kachavim. The Yamad the Ani Mukdim. If Ani is earlier than Tzesek Kachavim, then it comes out. It's during Bein Hashmashas l'chayr. It's right before Tzesek Kachavim, which is Bein Hashmashas, and that is the shita of Rabbi Eliezer that says Mishash Kiddush Ba'av Shabbos. The Yamad Ani Mukdim. Rabbi Chanina Hainu Rabbi Eliezer, because he says from Bein Hashmashas the Mishash Kiddush Ba'av Shabbos. Allah Shemina the Ani Mocha Shemina the Ani is a little later than Tzesek Kachavim. So Taisi has a kasha over here that if Ani is after Tzesek Kachavim, so if you show him ask kasha over here, if it's after Tzesek Kachavim, then why doesn't it look like that Ani is overlapped with one of the zmanim in the Brachos that's after Tzesek Kachavim, which would be Mishash Bnei Adam. Let's see which would be a later zman. Mishash Shiroi Bnei Adam. So you have to say l'chayr that they're both after Tzesek Kachavim. One's a little bit late. One's right after Tzesek Kachavim, and one's a little bit late after Tzesek Kachavim. That's what we have to say. Someone else? Is that not someone else over here? Okay, I don't see a Taisa now. Okay. Maybe it's Taisa Amanal. Okay, let's see the Gemara. Let's see the Gemara, and then we'll see what I'm talking about in Taisa Amanal. Amamar. Okay, so we said Ani Kayin can't be Chat Shiura, and Ani is later than Kayin, because Ani was before Kayin, then Rabbi Chanina Hain, Rabbi Eliezer, Bein Hashmashas. Amamar. So Meir said that you can start saying Kriyash Shema Shel Arvis from this man that couldn't go to the mikveh. In fact, the Gemara says mikveh is by day. How could Kriyash Shema Shel Arvis start by day? Amar Le Rabbi Yehuda, like kind of by day, many times kind of taivo on during the daytime. And how could that seems to be impossible to say Kriyash Shema Shel Laila starts during the daytime. Shapa come Le Rabbi Yehuda Le Meir. Rabbi Yehuda is a good time to Meir. The Hakas man Kriyash Shema Shel Arvis starts so early. Rabbi Meir Hachikam Alei. The Meir says Azay. Mi savet da'anoa ben Shmash doch kamina, anoa ben Shmash Rabbi Yosi kamina. You, Rabbi Yehuda, hold ben Shmash is a long time. It's about a 13.5 minute period of time. So Mimela, it comes out that they're being toivel before that 13.5 minutes. They're being toivel 15 minutes before Tzesik Chavim. That's mamash daytime. How could that be that you say Kriyash Shema so early? Right? He says, no, I don't hold like that. I hold that Ben Shmosh is very short. Meil is man that the type is literally minutes or two before Tzedikam, which would qualify as man shchiva that people go to sleep at that time. I'm not Ben Shmosh Rabbi Yosi coming. I hold like Rabbi Yosi. Now Rabbi Yosi Ben Shmosh keref ayins and nechtas yaitei. It's mamash a moment. And Meila, you could type a mamash a minute or two before Tzedikam and still be considered yom. And Meila, it's not so far into the day, and therefore this would qualify as a zman of shchiva that people go to sleep. Clarify, it's just a moment. Right? This one's nichlas, and this one is yaitze. We just had a taste about this, right? Nichlas is backwards. It's really yaitze. The day leaves, nichlas, and the new day comes in, right? But it says it backwards. Nichlas is yaitze because that's the derech of the Gemara. It says always says positive before the negative. Okay, so coming in is better than yaitze, even though it's out of order. Right, because when the new day comes, first the old day leaves, and then the new day comes. So it's not nichlas that the new day comes is a yaitze and the new day leaves. It's rather, the old day leaves. It's really should be yaitze nichlas, but we like talking positively. We say nichlas is yaitze. And it's impossible to actually pinpoint that moment. But if you're a minute or two before Tzedek Chavim, you're considered to be by yom. You can be tavel at that time, and that's not so early to have a kasha. Oh, that's too early for Kriyash Shema Shel Arvis. In fact, the Gemara kasha Rameir ad Rameir. It's a steer Rameir because the Rameir in the original brisa over here said Mishasha ben Adam, or should I say the original brisa? The second brisa we brought down Raminu Mishasha Rameir said Mishasha ben Adam nechlas lachal pita bar v'shabosais. And Rameir in this brisa, the second brisa over here says Mishasha kaim taim lachal b'trumasan, which is mibayayim. Right? So Chayret Rameir said saying two different shiurim. Which one is it? And for the Gemara Chaitan, I leave it. Mayor, it's takat to two different zmanim. It's two different people representing Shizra Mayor. Kasha Rabbi Eliezer. We also have Rabbi Eliezer, and the Brisa says Misha She Nu Shekish Yabab Shabbos Ben Shmoshes. And Rabbi Eliezer in our Mishnah says, right, Misha Shekayin L'char in our Mishnah, Rabbi Eliezer says Misha Shekayin L'chaf Lachal B'Shemasin, which it says Cham not Ben Shmoshes. And for the Gemara, no, Mishasha kind of chasal v'shvasa. Either you could say Triton or leave it there, Eliezer, well, like we said in Rameir, or else you could say the first line of Mishnah, not Rabbi Eliezer. Maybe Zakar Shema Bar Mishasha kind of chasal v'shvasa is a sheet of the Rabbanon. Sefer Shmur Shana starts the words of Rabbi Eliezer ben Echanam. Rabbi Eliezer has a different start time, which would be a little bit earlier, called Vein Hashmasas Mishasha Kish Hayim Be'arve Shah Basas. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay, so let's try to breeze through this. Let's see if we can catch up. We're going to be having a number of daf. The problem is that there's a lot of words, but there isn't that much thinking going on. I'm just talking about thinking. So you keep your mind, powered enough that you stay awake. Zakdei Gemara. Ad Sefer Shmur Rishon. Belazar says that you say Kriyash Shema Shel Shachris. Right, Shal Arvis until the end of the first mishmar, the first unit of the night. How long into the night is that? So Mike said Rabbi Eliezer. Right, what does Rabbi Eliezer hold about how many mishmar are in the night? Meaning the night is divided into sections, and he says the end of the first section. How many sections is the night divided up to? So we're going to find Tanaim, whether there's 3 sections to the night or 4 sections to the night. So if there's 3 sections to the night, then each mishmar is 4 hours. And if there's 4 sections to the night, each mishmar is 3 hours, assuming, right, that it's 12 hours. It's always going to be 12 hours, whether it's 12 full hours or 12 hours shas minus. We're always going to be dividing day and night into increments of 12. Okay, in the summer, the day hours are going to be a lot longer, and the day hours are going to be a lot longer, and the night hours are going to be a lot shorter, and vice versa in the winter. So, affecting Mara, again, our Mishnah is not telling us times; it's telling us mishalim, right? Why does it tell us that to the end of the first Mishmar? It should tell us whatever he holds. Is it 4 hours into night or 3 hours into night? If the night is divided into 3 sections, say until 4 hours into night. Okay, we're always going to assume when we give examples that the day starts at 6 o'clock and ends at 6 o'clock. Okay, 12-hour day, 12-hour night, and 6 to 6. So if the night starts at 6 o'clock, then 4 hours later it'd be 10 o'clock. So you should tell us 10 o'clock. And if he holds the night is divided into 4 sections, so each section is 3 hours, so tell us until 9 o'clock. Tell us until 3 hours into the night. Really holds 3 mishmaros to the night. And he's also telling us another side point, just like the Mishnah is insisting upon telling us side points when it comes to Shasha, Kan, and Chasach, they were even preceded to next to you. The Gemara follows up and tells us also another side point that you should know that the night is divided into different mishmaros, and you can notice the mishmaros by certain things that go on in this world. Right? Meaning, what is this in the Mishmar? Okay, we left out a detail. Rashi speaks out. The night is divided into a certain number of sections. So Rashi, that the reason why the night is divided into certain sections, because at night, the Malachi Ashares, the holy angels, say Shira Takadosh Baruch Hu, and they say Shira at different points in the night. Okay, so Mimela, there are different shifts of Malachim that have to do their Shira at different times during the night. And the Shaila is, how many shifts of Malachim are there? The Shaila is, how many shifts of Malachim are there? Are there 3 shifts of Malachim or 4 shifts of Malachim? It's interesting Rashi. Let's just see the lashon of Rashi over here. Look at Rashi. Iksavar. About a quarter of the way down. The Tana, the come on. We have Machlekes tonight. Later on, Bahamils and this thing, Ikaman Dama Gimishmaris Havilah. There are 3 sections tonight. B'mishmaris Avodas HaMalachim Shvishir Shalhem. The Malachim do Avodah at night. We do Avodah by day mostly. The Malachim are busy doing Avodah at night. Make sure the world continues to function. Shvishir Shalhem Nechlak L'Shalosh Chalakim. Right, and their shir and their avodah is divided into 3 sections. Rishon l'kas achas. There's one group of malachim for the first group. Shni l'kas acheres. They have a different shift for the second group, for the second section. Shlish l'kas shlishis. It means there was 3 mishmars, 3 sections of 3 groups of malachim. That's 3 shifts. The command Amar Arba mishmaris havi ha laila. I once heard someone say, Big Tam Chacham said over here from this Rashi is a raya. The Rashi had Ruach HaKodesh, because there's no Makar for this idea of the Mishmaros and Malachim, and Rashi seems to have gotten it on his own. So how does he know it? He knows by just looking up in Shema and sees what's going on. So it's a raya. Rashi had Ruach HaKodesh, because it says there's no Makar. Rashi would not know this. There's no place where Rashi could have possibly known this from other than having observed it firsthand. That's what he wanted to tie in. So it says that. So the chiddush of the mission is, when we start describing mishmaris, is that everybody knows, right? Every yid knows. You look up at the skies at night, you see the malachim doing their avodah. Listen, that if for some reason your vision is off and you can't see what's going on with the malachim at night, you should know that you could know what's going on with malachim by looking around at simanim, things that go on in Olam Hazeh. Different things go on in the Bria that you could tell what's going on in Shemayim. What are those things? So we're going to speak it out right now. Titania. And that's the Chiddush Mishnah. When I tell you Ad Sev Hashmur Rishayna, to let us know that there are different sections to the night, and you can actually pinpoint those sections by looking around at things that happen in Olam Hazeh. The Tanya Rabbi Omer, Shalosh Mishmaros Havi Alayla. Rabbi Elazar Taka says, Beferish in the Brisa, that there are only 3 mishmaros to the night. So each mishmar is 4 hours. I'll call mishmar. What goes on by these mishmars? Yoshev HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'Shoy Kari. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shemayim. He sits and he roars like a lion. Shenem Hashem Mimar Yishag Miman Kacha Yiten Karla Yishag Al Neveo. Hashem up in Shemayim. He roars in Miman Kacha from his palace. Right, Yiten Karla Yishag. So it describes 3 roars. right? So we say the three roars are that at each point of the night, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives this roar, right? Which would indicate his malchus. Similar davar, and if you want to know when these mishmaros are, Mishmar Rishon Chamar Noyer. When you hear the donkeys braying, right? So then you should know that is the first mishmar. Shniya Kalam Tzaikim. You hear the dogs whimpering, then you know that's the second mishmar. Shlish is the third mishmar. The same that goes on in this world is Tinikani Krishnei. You make children, babies get up to nurse. Vishim is Haparas and Baila. And Mela, the wife starts disturbing her husband. She wants to chap a shmooze because she's lonely, nursing her baby. So she starts saying, "No, Dovi, what's going on?" And Mela, when you hear this stirring going on in the world, you know these are different mishmars. So Gemara wants to know, say, the three mishmars in the night, the three simanim. At what point in the mishmar does the siman occur? Right? Does it occur at the beginning of the mishmar or at the end of the mishmar? If it begins at the beginning of the mishmar, you don't need the first siman because the beginning of the first mishmar is when it gets dark. If it's at the end of the mishmar, so you don't need the last siman because that's our light, when you have the first rays of light. So when are these simanim? If you have three simanim for three mishmaros, at what point are they being given that's necessary to have a special siman? Ma'ika chashiv. Rabbi Eliezer. What's Rabbi Eliezer counting? When do these simanim happen? Each chilas mishmar kachashiv. If he's counting the beginning of each mishmar, chilas mishmar yishana siman alamali. What do I need the chamar noyer at the beginning of Teisek Chavim to let me know? Oh, the first mishmar is starting. I know the first mishmar is starting because hey, it's Teisek Chavim. Or two, when it gets night, that's the siman. Each seif mishmar kachashiv is the siman at the end of each mishmar. Seif mishmar chayin alamali siman yiman moves. When I see salei seshachar, I know that is morning. I don't need the tini gari b'shtei ima and ish misaperes and baila as a siman that the mishmar ended. It's clear the mishmar ended because of the light, that's the sun that's rising.
For the first mishmar is 6 to 10 o'clock. It doesn't get dark at 10 o'clock.
We're saying 6 Teisek Chavim. 6 is Teisek Chavim. That's what at least we're
Yeah, but it's not saying. But it's saying there's three mishmars, right?
Right. So is the siman at the beginning of the mishmar or at the end of the mishmar? If it's at the beginning of the mishmar, that's at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Teisek Chavim. I see 3 stars come out. I know it's 6 o'clock.
So we're saying that it has to be at the end.
If it's at the end, I don't need the last one. Right. So that's what I asked. So when do you need two? So you only need 2. You need one at the end of the first and one at the end of the second, and everything. And the beginning and end has its own natural, siman. Right. So Gemara says it's the end of the first, end of the second, in the middle of the second. Okay. It also wants to pinpoint you chatzais. Okay. That's what I was going to say. El chashiv seif mishmar rishayna. Thank you. El chashiv seif mishmar rishayna. Tchil mishmar achroina. Ve'emsais de'emsi isa. Right, and the 3 simanim are all around the middle mishmar. The beginning of the middle mishmar, the middle of the middle mishmar, and the end of the middle mishmar, which is the beginning of the third mishmar, and the beginning of the second mishmar is the end of the first mishmar. Or else I can tell you, no, really we're giving the simanim of the end of the mishmars. You tiny, what do I need the one for the morning? I don't need the last one because the moment I see Alei Sashach, I know that it ends. But the Gemara, in the morning, sometimes people sleeping in dark houses. The Trishim are down, right? And the man, the guy's still sleeping in a dark house, and you also have to recognize that Alois Shachar, there's just drops of light. You have to really be looking at the horizon to notice Alois Shachar. So, a person that's in a dark house, he has no idea that's Alois Shachar. He doesn't know when he can start saying Kriyishma. Like him a liquid. When he sees this simanim going on, the wife starts talking with her husband. He starts hearing this stirring in the world with children getting up to nurse. Then he knows it's Alois Shachar, and he can say Kriyishma. There are 3 mishmars during the night. They'll call Mishmar Yeshav Kadosh Baruch Hu Shekar. You mentioned earlier that Kadosh Baruch Hu roars like a lion, and over here he's going to tell us now in Golus what a Kadosh Baruch Hu is roaring. If a Kadosh Baruch Hu is roaring, even when there's a base of Mikdash, there is no Golus. If this is something that happens all the time, so his roaring has different connotations. When the Klai Yisrael is in a good spot, his roaring is a celebratory roar, I'm assuming. Masha'enke and Rabbi Yisrael says, if you want to know nowadays what happens by each mishmar, I'll call mishmar by Yeshua Kadosh Baruch Hu Shai Kari, roars like a lion. Va'omer oil banim shabbat. When you say machrafti, spacey, srafti, sechali, the glisam leveinu umasoilim. Kadosh Baruch Hu laments, he mourns over Klai Yisrael that he had to unfortunately destroy the base of English because of Klai Yisrael's averis, and they burned the heichal. and I had to put Klal Yisrael on goal. Instead of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, every night, throughout the night, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mourning Klal Yisrael's goals. So that's the Indian of Tikkun Chatzos, right? That in as much HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mourning for Klal Yisrael night. So tzaddikim, they sit with HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol, and they say Tikkun Chatzos to mourn together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tanya, Rabbi Yosef Hamach says Hamach B'derech Nachnas L'Chorvach B'Chorvach Yishlayim Mispalel. Comes Rabbi Yosef says, once upon a time, I was walking on the road and I had to dive in. So I walked into one of the Chorvach of Yishlayim. You have to understand the time of Rabbi Yosef. This is probably about 100 years after the Chorban Abayis, right? And or maybe less even, maybe like 50, 75 years after Chorban Abayis. So all over Yishlayim, they're bombed out buildings, right? So he says that I was walking on the road near Yishlayim, and I needed to daven. So I walked into one of these bombed out buildings to daven. Well, Navi came and he waited for me by the door until I finished davening. After I finished davening, he said to me, "Welcome to you, Rabbi. Rabbi, my Rabbi and my master." And he asked me the following question: "What are you going into the bombed out building for?" I went in there to daven. Why did you have to go into the building? Daven on the road. I'm afraid that I was going to get disturbed by different people going on the road. There could be Roman people, goyim. They could have been going there and beating people up. Who knows? I needed a place of privacy, not to be disturbed. You should have davened a short Shemoneh Esrei, and you shouldn't have gone into the Chorban. So I learned three things from this conversation. I learned that you're not supposed to walk into bombed out buildings. I learned that you can daven on the road. And I learned that if you do daven on the road and you don't really have the ability to daven full daven, then you could shorten your daven Tefillah K'tzara. What is Tefillah K'tzara? Rashi says it's Havinenu, which is an abridged version of the middle 13 Brachos of Shemoneh Esrei. And Taisus learns Tefillah K'tzara is that you could abridge Shemoneh Esrei yourself. You could just say each bracha, the beginning and a couple words in the middle, and the end. You could abridge the Shemoneh Esrei yourself. So it says he said to me, my son, why'd you go into this chorba? If you went to this chorba, you must have heard some sort of baskel coming out of this chorba, some sort of heavenly voice coming out of this chorba. So I told him, I heard a baskel humming like a dove, a sweet voice. Right? The Gemara Yevamah says that a baskel outside a city sounds like a woman's voice, because the baskel always sounds like a voice you don't expect. You don't expect to hear a woman's voice outside the city. So maybe the baskel sounds like a woman's voice outside the city. That's Menahemis Kiyana. If in the city a baskel sounds like a man's voice, you don't expect to hear a man's voice in the city because they're always being talked over by the women. Get it? But as I heard a baskel that was humming like a dove. Right? Woe is to my children, to my children, with their sins, had to put them in the gulf. He told me, right, by your life, the life of your head. Not only, this isn't the only time that you hear this baskel goes out. Every night, like we said previously, on every Mishmar Kadosh Baruch Hu mourns Klal Yisrael. And not only this, here's a little inspiration from Yesh Mei Rabbi today. Those of us that daven shachs already, so maybe for mincha. For those of us that didn't daven yet, El b'shoshi yisrael nichnas batik nesiyah savat b'shoshi. V'ayim Yesh Mei Hagal L'Varach. Every time Klal Yisrael says Yesh Mei Rabbi in shul, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Menanei Rosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol nods his head. V'ayim he says, Ashri Amelch Shebekasei Beisek Kach. Fortunate is a king like himself that they praise him in his home. Must go to be with a father who had to exile his children, and woe to children that had to be exiled off the Me'al Shulchan Avim. Again, the same is Taisif here, the bottom Taisif, Yeshmei Gadol Mevarach, that the Gemara says, we say Yeshmei Rabba, and the Gemara seems to be touched the word Rabba is be HaGadol. So Yeshmei Rabba means Hashem, the great name of Hashem, and not that Rabba means Hashem's name should be great. Yeshmei Rabba can be that the shame of Hashem should be Rabba, it should expand, right? And here we see Yeshmei HaGadol, no, it's an adjective, Hashem's great name, and not that it's describing a verb, but his name should be Nisrabba. Okay, we could do it a different time right now, but you got to try to catch up. Okay, you got it, Rabbi side. We're good to go? Okay, let's see. 15 minutes. Whether we can do this Amid. Tanabon. Eliyahu Navi told Rabbi Yossi you're not supposed to go into a chorba. He didn't tell him why, but he learned you're not supposed to go into a bombed out building. Tanabon. The three reasons you don't go into a bombed out building. If you go into the bombed out building somewhere in the middle of nowhere, people will be chayshid you that you're meeting someone for some illicit activity, namely znus. Another reason why you shouldn't go in is because bombed out buildings are dangerous. Who knows what something's going to fall down, chas shalom, and you're not allowed to put yourself in sakana. Bombed out buildings tend to have shadim hanging out over there, and therefore you shouldn't go in there either first. So you have three reasons. In fact, Gemara, what do you need three reasons not to go into chorba? Once you give me one reason, I'm not going to go in. What do you have to give me three reasons? The answer is that there are circumstances that some reasons apply and other reasons don't apply. Therefore, we give you three reasons to cover all the circumstances where it's talking problematic. Nechshav, take them shema pilots. What do you have to tell me? The people chayshid you for that you're meeting a zayin over there. Take them shema pilots. Anyway, I can't go in because it's dangerous. And for the Gemara b'chadti, there are bombed out buildings that were recently bombed out, and then they aren't at danger of collapsing. They just whatever it was, or bomb fell on the roof, but the rest of the building is intact, and therefore I don't have to worry about bomb pilots. But in as much as it's a place where people are walking around, people don't tend to go in there. People are going to be chayshid that there's illicit activity going on over there. Typically, mishum hazikin. So fine. So, but if it's chadati, I should be worried. I still don't have to come out to chashad. So just tell me mishum hazikin that there's a shadim over there. And for the Gemara betray, right? In a case where there's two people in a new mapilas, then the only thing I have to be worried about is chashad. In fact, the Gemara, if there's two people, why is the chashad? He betray chashad namileka. Right? Two people, we're not chayish, two people could do Averis together. Two people are shaymer for each other. And for the Gemara, betray upriti. So in the case you have two people who are pritzim, who people are they're not known for the Yir Shemaim, and people are chayish that they would not be a shmir for each other. So Mela, if it's a chorba chadati, and there's two people, so no mazikin, because mazikin don't start off with two people, don't start with single people. If it's chadati, if it's a new chorba, then I'm not worried it's going to fall. The only thing is they hachshad. So therefore, that's the case where I need chashad, where the other two reasons don't apply. In fact, the Gemara bazoi leave out my pilot, may have my pilot. That's only by an old one. So leave out my pilots. Technically, one chashad mazik can cover every chorva not to go in, right? Because because my pilot is only an old one, right? And chashad mazik can even buy new ones. And for the Gemara betray uksheri, right? I would need a case of my pilots where it's an old my pilot, right? And there's two people who are kosher. So mishum mazik is not a problem because there's two people, and nechshad is not a problem because there's two people that are kosher. And mele, if it's an old my pilot, then I can't go in. Because of old chorva b'nei mapiles. Right, what would come out? You have two people that are kosher walking into a new mapiles is not a problem. Okay, because you don't have any other reasons. B'chorva b'nei mazikin ibezei. So what I need the case of shading for? Typically b'nei chashan mapiles. And for the Gemara b'chorva chadti will betray kashri. If it's a new, it's a new chorva and there's two people that are kashri, right? So then the only thing I have to worry about is chadti. Because I don't have to worry about pilots, it's a new chorba. I don't have to worry about chashad because it's two ksherim. In fact, tomorrow you're telling me if there's two people, I don't have to worry about mazikin. You betray mazikin amileka. There's no mazikin either. Should be fine to go in. There are places where it's well known that the mazikin frequent these places. They're mazikin hotspots, and these mazikin hotspots, even if you have two people, they're going to start up with you. So therefore, when we mention mazikin, we're telling you, listen, if this is a super haunted place, don't go there, even if it's chadati, and even if it's tuksheri, there still may be a problem with mazikin. Or else I can tell you another reason why I need the mazikin is we talk about a singular person, and it's a new chorva. So in as much as it's a new chorva, I'm not worried about my pilos. I worry about chashad, right? It's the kaibet dabra. It's in the middle of nowhere. The husband mishum chashad, like we're not worried that guy's meeting a zayin over there, because zayiners don't go to the middle of nowhere. The only thing that's left by a chorva chadati bidabra out in the middle of no place is mishum mazikin. There's a problem is mazikin, so therefore that's the case where you need mazikin. Okay, so mazikin is either by trey kashri bechadati in a place where a super haunted place, or bedabra in a chorvachati with a singular person that I'm worried about mazikin, but chshad is not because women aren't there. and I don't worry about my pilots because it is a new chorban. Tarabban. Abba Mishmaros have a life. So you mentioned previously that there's different shitas. How many sections the night divide into? 4 mishmaros, 3 mishmaros. Now we're going to bring down a brayso that tells us the different shitas. Right? We said previously, Rabbi holds 3 mishmaros have a life, which would be until 10 o'clock. However, we have machlokes over here, Rabbi and Rab Nosson. Talk about our mishmaros have a life. Different Rabbi. Rabbi holds the night is divided into 4 mishmaros. Rab Nosson, there's only 3. My time, Rab Nosson. Where does Rab Nosson get the night is divided into 3? The pasuk says, it says he came at the beginning of the middle mishmar. So it is must be describing middle mishmar by size. There's 3 mishmars because of the 4 mishmars there isn't a distinct middle mishmar. Middle means is one before, one after. It does say that there's 3. Rabbi my tichayna. It doesn't mean a specific middle one. He came in the middle of the night, and during one of the middle mishmars, it doesn't mean a specific mishmar, therefore it could be 4 mishmars. It doesn't say one of the middle ones. Tichayna it says an absolute tichayna, which is, it must be that there's only 3 mishmars. My time of the Rebbe. Where's Rabbi get to this 4 mishmars? So we learn out from a different Joshua. David Melch says that one pasuk he gets up in the middle of the night. At midnight he gets up to praise Hashem. Another pasuk says, Kid Mein Hashmuris. He says, when I get up, I look forward, right, at 2 mishmaris. Hashmuris says multiple mishmaris ahead of me. That means if he gets up a chatzais, he has multiple mishmaros in front of him. It must be 4 mishmaros have a laila, right? Because the midpoint is 2 mishmaros of tonight. There must be 2 left. But if there's only 3 mishmaros, chatzais only has 1.5 mishmaros left. He would not call that ashmurais multiple mishmaros. And also, have a look at Yeshua. 9 of Yeshua. Okay, so Rabbi Nosson says that's not a kasha. Really, he got up at 12 o'clock, and there's really 1.5 mishmaros left to the night. However, David was a melech. And Malachim get up late. They get up 2 hours into the day. So he should have he had 6 hours left tonight, which is a mishmar and a half. And he had 2 mishmars left to the day. He had 2 hours left to the day because he's a melech. He should have gotten up at 8 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. So he's saying, I'm getting up at 12 o'clock and I have 8 hours ahead of me. I have 4 hours mishmaris ahead of me. I'm getting up 8 hours in advance of every other melech. So he says Shistalai, there's 6 hours left of the night. V'tati the mama 2 hours left of the day. Havlish te mishmaros 2. That's 2 mishmaros of 4 hours each. Rav Ashi says tam not a kasha. You could say 1.5. You could refer to it as a multiple mishmaros. Rav Ashi mishmar pagna mishmaros karilu. It's not fair. B'chlal, even if there's only 6 hours left and it's a mishmar and a half, right? You could call it mishmaros. Once you have more than 1 mishmar, you could refer to that as multiple mishmaros. Rav Zeka Rabbi Shuba Levi Einam for the Emes Rav Shemes. Rav Zveka, Amar Bami, Amar Rabbi Yeshua Levi. Okay, we have over here Rav Zveka, Amar Bami, Rabbi Yeshua Levi, right? Because he brought this that he told us the reason of Rabbi that there's 4 mishmaros have Elaila, right? So Mela, once we have this memra of Rav Zveka, the name of Rabbi, and the name of Yeshua Levi, we bring down other things in his name. Rav Zveka, Amar Bami, Rabbi Yeshua Levi. Einam for the Emes Rav Shemes. A person is in the same areas as a dead person. You can't say anything. You can't stop shvuz. Only things on the get the mace because not there are to stop talking about things, random things in front of a mace. That's only you can't talk in learning because if a person is talking and learning in front of a mace, the mace is jealous. He can't learn anymore. But if you talk about lunch, he doesn't care about lunch, and mainly doesn't mind. Some say no. It's Amar Baba Barkana the opposite. Lawyer Abed al field inventory. You can't even talk to Bitar, which we think is a big mitzvah. Maybe that I don't have to stop because of the mace. But Kol Shekei Mil Dalma, surely I can't talk things that are not negay. Anything is just not covered to stop be random schmoozing in front of a mace. Practicing Gemara, we said David HaMelech got up a Chatzos Laila, right? That's what we brought that a pasuk, right? To tell him Kuf Yotes Chatzos Laila, Akam Leis Chavish Petei Tzekach. Practicing Gemara, did David get up Chatzos Laila? Did David Pag Laila have a koi? More to have a koi. David didn't go to sleep. He was up already before night. He says, I'm up already before night. Neshef, we're going to teach as being night. I'm up before night, and I'm crying out to you, Hashem. I daven to you the whole night. In fact, the more or to hide in the word Neshef means night. We have a pasuk in Mishlei that says that Neshef is night. You're right. David normally stayed up the entire night. When he says he meant that that I never, generally, I got up before, I stayed up the whole night, but I never, but my end point was I never slept past Chatzos. Rav Zeir Amar, he says that no, he was up the whole night, but he dozed off, like Daf Yomi shir, until Chatzos, right? He dozed off like a sus, right? Chazal tells us a sus never sleeps. Right, so they stay standing, and they sort of like they are misnamning, which means they drimmel.
The opposite.
Huh? So they sleep like a horse.
Like a ferret.
Yeah. Mikav elech miskaber ka'ari. Yeah, I mean if you're a ferret, they're gonna sleep. If a human's a ferret, they're gonna sleep a lot. Mikav elech miskaber ka'ari. And at Chatzos he would get up inspired like a misgaber, motivated and all misgaber, all strengthened kari. Right, he was up the whole night and he learned Torah the whole night. Right, he says means he changed his subject. Until then he was learning. And he got up to say Shiras Tishbachos to praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's interesting because the lashon of Kidamti B'Neshef Ashaveya is lashon of Shava. Shava means screaming, right? It sounds like beseeching HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Gemara has no problem learning Torah beseeching HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because I guess the shot would be just Pasha says the person sitting and learning that's the ultimate way of beseeching HaKadosh Baruch Hu for bracha in your life, because you're sitting and learning. So it's not a problem to call of Ashaveya, a lashon of beseeching Hashem. So mainly he would learn until Chatzos, and at Chatzos he got up. He says L'Hoyzulcha to say Shiras Tishbach and start saying Tehillim. In fact, the Gemara your whole kasha this year was you typed the word Neshev to be night. Is it so pasha is Neshev is night? You brought pasuk and Mishnah that seem to say that, but we have different pasuk that seems to be saying Neshev is day, but Neshev or two is Neshev night. Ha Neshev Tabrit. Neshev means morning. The Chsiv Vayakim David Maneshev Ad Erev. The Machrosim says David in one of the Mechamas. Right, he smit them, man, Neshev from the Neshev out of Erev from the Brachos to the following night. Sounds like Neshev is morning. My la bitzafra lelia doesn't not mean from morning till night. So it says loy orta about orta. No, Neshev it means from night to the next night. In fact, Gemara, if Neshev means night, so why switch the lashon? Yach lichlem and Neshev out of Neshev, oy me'erev out of Erev. Why would it say from Neshev out of Erev? Elam Rava says no, about the Neshev sometimes means night, sometimes it means morning. Trei nashvi haver. There's two Neshevs. Right, nefesh means to jump, to change from one matzah to another matzah. So neshev leili avasi yemama. The night jumps away, and the day comes. Neshev yemama avasi leila. So neshev has the double connotation. And Memela, when David said kidamti b'neshev ashaveya, that over there that means before the night, and over here it said yakadav neshev, it means from the morning. Now you have to know why. Maybe kidamti b'neshev ashaveya maybe means morning, right? Well, that wouldn't help you anyway, because if he said he's anyway up from Chatzos Laila, right? So then Kidam the Neshev sounds like he gets up right for morning. So that would still be a steer.
Never made Brachos Torah.
Now there is machlekes Rishonim when the Brachos Torah is a daily bracha, and even if you don't stop for a moment, you have to make it daily without a hesach hadas. So I'm not sure how that would paskin. Fine. I mean, he obviously slept a certain amount, but he's just slept in short snatches also. It just means he didn't have any like real sleep, like we said with Mistam Nikasus. Everyone agrees he was Mistam Nikasus.
You need real sleep for Kristera?
Again, you'd have to know, what it means Mistam Nikasus, but I'm not sure. You have to look at David's royal logs to see if he had Kriya Shema on his schedule. Okay. Fine, Dr. Gemara, yeah? Let's see if we can even hit Daf Dal today. Let's say we're on the same Daf. Let's do 2 more minutes, yeah? David says he got up at Chatzos. How could David possibly know when Chatzos is, right? Back in the day without clocks, right? You went to sleep, it got dark at night. You were very curious when it's going to get light. So how would David know when Chatzos is? I mean, even though we have different simonim. Right, so he could have said, according to one of the sheets on Amar Alf, that as soon as he heard the Klavim Tzayakim, he knew it was Chatzos Laila. But David,
it won't tell you when Chatzos is because the watches.
What do you say?
Each watch has a certain summon, right?
Yeah.
Each more. But chatzos isn't one either end or beginning of a shmur.
Yeah, but one of the first teretz you had was that the end of the first, middle of the second, and end of the second. That was the first teretz you said. I don't know. You had a number of teretzim, but the first teretz was that the taka locates chatzos. So according to that would be a teretz. But according to other teretzim, you're right. In fact, how would David know what chatzos is? Right? Then Moshe Rabbeinu says, "I'm going to." When he informs Paro about the Brachos, he says around Chatzos. Why does he say like around Chatzos? Is because by says you couldn't pinpoint Chatzos, right? Now I would say the answer is very pashut. Like I just said, if the sim is Kalav and Sayakim, the Kalavim were quiet. The so Mela on that night there wouldn't be any sim. And I'm sure someone says anyway. Do you think Hashem told him around Chatzos? Obviously Hashem told him the exact time. Hashem doesn't say general terms. Hashem knows exactly everything's defined perfect. Hashem obviously told Moshe Rabbeinu at Chatzos. And he told Parai around Chatzos because he understood in the world of humanity you don't know exactly. So mainly you talk in general terms Chatzos. Like we say Daf Yomi starts 7:30, it means around 7:30. So we see Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know exactly what Chatzos. So how could David know things that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know? The David Haviyad is possible Moshe knew, and for the Gemara, David didn't know on his own, but he had a special patent that he used to let him know when Chatzos was. David Simona Havala. He had a sim, he had a way of determining it by hanging up his harp or his flute, whatever the kinner is. David hung up some sort of musical instrument. It sounds like it's a wind instrument above his bed. The temperature is the Ruach Tzfayna starts blowing, the northern wind starts blowing at 12 o'clock on the button. So, and it blows it, and it starts playing music. So he knew it was Chatzos he would get up at that point and be Isaac B'Torah after what Shita this is before, and we said one of the Shitas was he was Isaac B'Torah till that point, and he started saying till at this point. But this is what she did with the Shita that he was Misnamnim Kasus, that he was falling asleep. Maybe saying Mishnah Balpeh or saying Tillim, and he got up, he was making some Skaba Kari to learn Torah at Chatzos. Kim Shalom Shachar. Once the morning came, Nichnasu Chachmei Yisrael Etzlai, the Chum would come into him, and they would and he was a Melech, he had to provide for them, and they would tell him, Amallah, Denenu Ham Elach, our master, the king. Amcha Yisrael Tzich Parnasa Chal Yisrael needs Parnasa. Amalhem Lechuvis Parnasa Zemizev. It's okay, so give stuck at each other. So they told him back, it's not possible, right? We need more than. We need more than there's not enough monetary reserves to cover the whole Klal Yisrael. Even if everybody, even if you even out the wealth, even if you spread the wealth, you can't satisfy a line with just a handful. And you can't fill up a pit from its deficit. Meaning, if you have a whole, there's different percent what mechuyasi is, but Rashi says if you have a bar, right? You have a bar that's dug in your backyard. You want to fill it up. You can't start digging from the bottom of the bar, putting it back in. You have to bring from someplace else dirt to fill up a bar, right? You learn about this in engineering school, right? Mm-hmm. You have a hole in the ground. You can't dig from the bottom and put it back in, right? You got to dig back where you start from. You have to get surplus dirt. So they're saying we have a deficit over here. You got to get surplus. We got to get money from an outside source. Right, so he told them, okay, you have to make a mechamis rishus. Go and take over the neighboring state called Gedud, and there you have extra money, and you'll be able to start providing Klal Yisrael with more. You have more real estate. You'll have more stuff, more zachin, more commodities, and you'll be able to support Klal Yisrael. Miyad, they want to go to war. They have to. They would have to ask Achitofel. He was the person that gave a battle strategy. In Malach Sanhedrin, they have to ask permission for Sanhedrin if they could go to war with Mechamas Rishos, Mishal and Bermatumim, and they would ask the Bermatumim, the Kohen Gadol with the Bermatumim, where they're going to Metzliach. How do you see that this was a process of going to war? Ma'akrod, the pasuk says, after Achitofel was the general, B'nei ben Yehoyada, who was the Sanhedrin, Avyasar, who was the Kohen Gadol, they would with the Bermatumim, the Sar Tzava, Libelch Yoav. And then they would go with Lamaisa, the general Yoav would actually take them out too. So Achitofel was the advisor. He was the Secretary of Defense. and Yoav was the general that actually took them out to war. He advised has such good advice that if you ask him advice, it'd be as if you're getting nevuah. He was the Rosh Sanhedrin that would pass whether they're allowed to go to war. He was a Kohen Gadol asking the Tum. He's on the crazy Placey, which means he's Sanhedrin, right? Why is Sanhedrin called crazy Placey? Crazy Placey. Crazy Shekarsim Devreim. They talk very perfect. Everything is said precisely. Placey Shemufloim B'Devreim. That they define things very clearly, right? They decide whether things are chayav or chayav or pater or aser or mutter, tami or tar. They differentiate things very clearly, and they say things very precisely. We call them crazy placey. V'achach tzar tzava l'melech Yoav. Rabbi Sabarada, Ba'amilam, Rabbi Sabarada, Mikra, Ura Kvaidi, Ura Neighbor, V'china or Ira Shach. How do you know? Going back to what he said previously, David had an alarm clock at 12 o'clock, which was his kinar. Because he says in the pasuk, Ura Kavaidi, my covet awakes, Ura Hanevel, V'chinar, Ura Shachar. My Nevel and Chinar, they wake me up in the morning. So you see that he had this instrument to wake him up. Rabbi Zeir, Amar Moshe Leim Havyada. You tied him, Moshe didn't know what Chatzos was because he said Chatzos. No, really, Moshe knew what Chatzos was. Right? But David not maybe Melev Moshe knew. Right? Maybe David also knew. But David Havyada, Kinan Lamali. If I would say, what do you need the instrument for? There's a Mishnah say he knew what Chatzos was when he was awake. But when he's sleeping, he needs something to wake him up. Why did Moshe say Chatzos if he could have said precisely B'Chatzos? Moshe says, I know what Chatzos is. But that's Stagnine Pari and his advisors, they don't know what Chatzos is. Shamitu at Stagnine Pari. Maybe Pari's advisors they're going to be off in the calculation Chatzos. When Makis B'Charis comes according to their calculations at 12:01, they're going to say Moshe is a fool. Right? The Amamar, because we learned that a brayso it's better, even if you know something, it's better to say you don't know. Maybe someone else will make a mistake and you're going to look foolish. Rashi is not pshat. Moshe Avada knew what Chatzos is. Why do you say Chatzos like Chatzos? He was referencing like it's Chatzos now mamish tomorrow at this time. Rav Hashem Bapaga ordered placer at 12 o'clock at night at Chatzos on the night of the 13th. Nagia basically going into the 14th to have a koy. Moshe was standing. Moshe was saying Yisrael. Amakash Brachos Chatzos halayla. Kia inna tomorrow at this exact time. That's mamish Chatzos and he yosef b'sayich mitzrayim.